OBJ signed a 1-year deal with the Ravens. It includes a $13.835 million signing bonus, a $1.165 million base salary, $3 million in reachable incentives. It would make him earning at least $15 million and as much as $18 million on the deal. No other free agent wide receiver got more than $11 million per year, and it's the most guaranteed money. Was given to Alan Lazard actually at $22 million, but that was a 4-year deal. Brady, is this the greatest money spent by Eric DeCosta?
Potentially. And if it has to do with the fact that they signed Nelson Aguilar earlier, they drafted Bateman, a year ago in the first round, and now you have Odell to go with Mark Andrews. Again, assuming Odell Beckham's healthy and he's able to be the Odell, that we saw helping the Rams win a Super Bowl. If that's what we're getting and it convinces Lamar Jackson to come back, and whether it's play under the non-exclusive franchise tag or even under like a lesser amount for the extension, then yeah, like you go spend a little money over here with Odell Beckham, right? In order to be able to then entice Lamar Jackson to come back for an additional year and realize like, all right, maybe I'm in a good situation with this organization. Maybe this is a good spot for me. I don't need to look anywhere else. Hell, those two partied together down in South Beach after Odell signed. I wouldn't be shocked if the Baltimore Ravens were the ones calling down to whatever club it was, picking up the tab, most likely 11 or wherever they partied at. But they were like, hey, it's Steve Bisciotti. Just whatever those guys want, make sure you pay them. And you tell them that the Baltimore Ravens are taking care of the tab. It would be some of the best money spent because at the end of the day, if they can avoid paying $231 million fully guaranteed at signing, then that's a win because they get a guy who's been a former MVP to come back essentially on a discount. If we're using Deshaun Watson's deal as the market resetting quarterback contract that everyone should be trying to leapfrog. And it sounds like that's what Lamar wants, even though I don't know that any organization obviously wants their quarterback to be able to leapfrog that right now.
So I've got two mutually exclusive, or two takes I think that are mutually exclusive on the Odell Beckham thing. One, oh my God, can this please be the end of the Odell Beckham watch? I mean, last year was the most ridiculous thing in the history of like professional football in terms of over coverage of a guy who ended up playing a snap for a single team and wasn't ever going to be healthy enough because he tore his ACL in the friggin' Super Bowl. So like that whole thing last year, especially with the Cowboys, I know Jerry Jones loves attention and all of that. Just too much, And then this whole thing leading up to it, just too much. Like if he goes out and has a good, if he has 1,000 yards, then great job. That's a big season for him, I think, given the health and like the way and how much he's played in the past few years. Now, having gotten that annoyance off my chest, I'm going to point out that, again, mutually exclusive takes. I think the Odell Beckham stuff is annoying as hell. And yet, if Odell Beckham is able to get Lamar Jackson back and playing on the franchise tag, then this is a great signing. And here's a hot take. By using the non-exclusive tag instead of the exclusive franchise tag, they actually had more than enough money to give Odell Beckham $15 million to bump up what they owed. Like Odell Beckham, let's say a $10 million deal, right? You get the $5 million for the difference in those two tags, and you're still saving money on the Odell Beckham-Lamar Jackson combo by virtue of using the non-exclusive tag. So if you're able to overpay Odell, make him happy, get him to hype up Lamar, bring Lamar in, and get Lamar to play this year, it's a massive win for the Ravens, and it's a fantastic signing. And look, should Lamar be that excited about Odell Beckham coming in? No, probably not. Is it going to drastically change his wide receiver core? Maybe, because they're that bad before, but not because like Odell Beckham is the best receiver in football. But if he likes Odell enough where he's FaceTiming immediately after this signing and the Ravens are tweeting it out, then this is a big, big win for Baltimore to overpay Odell Beckham and get Lamar Jackson back if that's what we think is going to happen.
Well, our own John Breach, I'm sorry. Okay. I was going to say, John Breach wrote that Lamar Jackson recruited Odell Beckham Jr. to the Ravens with the understanding he'll likely be at quarterback in 2023 per report. That's what Breachy says on CBSSports.com.
Right. I think it's from Rap Sheet not that Breach. Yeah, just make
Hey, Brinson, semantics with all you writers and taking credit for who said what. Who cares? We're all human. We say the same stuff. We just regurgitate it.
Well, somebody reported it. And somebody aggregated it. And I love John Breach like a brother. Well, I mean, like a stepbrother. Right. Like a
more like a cousin.
This is
more like a distant
title
cousin.
of his article.
maybe like a nephew, right? He's like a guy you're close to, but not that. And then more of like
his nephew. I don't want him calling when he's in town.
Well, the other thing about nephews are with like an uncle-nephew relationship, they have extreme impacts on them. But like a lot of times it can be like, all right, they don't really know you. They don't really know you. Then you dump like all your life details on them. And they're like, dude, Uncle Will is weird. Like I didn't know anything about him. And I learned like way too much about him, right? Like that's more of like an ironic, like uncle relate. That's why you always hear like, oh, the crazy uncle. It's like, why is he crazy? He just dumped a lot of stuff that I never knew about him until that one Christmas party when everyone got together at so-and-so's house. Like, that's how it works. I digress because we're getting off track from the point of this decision for Odell. I mean, is it as simple as saying, okay, you're paying me this much money? Yep, I'm willing to go ahead and spend a year in Baltimore, because I also feel like this is his last chance, right? Like, this is that opportunity for him to go in. I think he'll be looked and viewed, if healthy, as the number one wide receiver, at least on the outside. We don't know how that will really work out because Mark Andrews will probably get the most targets. But at least from the wide receiver core, he'll probably be wide receiver one. He gets this shot with a quarterback that, to be quite honest, he hasn't finished the last 2 seasons. The passing numbers haven't looked quite as good as what they did in that MVP season. You do have a new offense, too, with Todd Monken there. He likes to sling it around, but will they be able to adapt and do that? Will Lamar be able to adapt and do that? I think this is an interesting, deal for Odell, only because there's no doubt if he would have went to the Jets, probably, splitting time was like the number one guy. Now with the Ravens, he's the number one wide receiver, and it's just, what are we expecting? Is it 65, 70 receptions? Can he get to 100? Would they target him that much or even throw that much to be the case? I mean, has Lamar Jackson even thrown over 4,000 yards? I think he's done it. I think he's thrown over 3,000 once in his career. So if you're Odell Beckham and you're going there on a 1-year deal, a lot of people might think, oh, it's like a 1-year prove-it deal. Well, at this point in time in your career, every year is going to be a one-year prove-it deal. If you can't get a 2-3 year deal from a team now, every single subsequent year after this is going to be a 1-year prove-it year, depending on how this year goes.
Do you guys think this means that Lamar Jackson will play under the franchise tag then?
I do. I think he's going to play 2 years on the tag and then walk into free agency.
I mean, I think he's going to play. I don't know if he'll end up being under the tag or if he'll agree to a long-term extension. I mean, look, the draft may come and go, and there might be another team that submits an offer sheet that the Baltimore Ravens have to agree to. We don't know yet. There's teams that said they aren't interested, but I just have a really hard time believing that you wouldn't take the time to put in an offer. You don't have to give him the fully guaranteed contract that he's rumored to be looking for. You can reach out to him, have a conversation, and make an offer. It's no different than if look, people list their house all the time. That doesn't stop a buyer or a potential buyer from coming in and saying, hey, you want $600,000 for your house? I think it's worth $450,000. And I'm going to submit an offer. I know it's low, but look at the market right now. Go ahead and hold on to the house for another 10, 12 months. See where you're at that point in time. Paying for utilities, paying your taxes, insurance, and paying for your mortgage. Like, see what that looks like. Or you can sell it now to me for $450,000 and I'll save the cost, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with making an offer. I don't know why a team right now, well, I should say right now, but after the draft, if they don't get what they're looking for, then take the time to see if you can't potentially get them for a more economical number.